Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to do a fun doodle Christmas tree. This is a Zen doodle. It is going to put you in a place of calm in this sea of wackadoodle crazy. I'm drawing a picture of a Christmas tree from my sketchbook, and I'm going to be using the Arteza permanent fabric marking pen on a piece of 100% cotton muslin. I'm going to draw this, dry it, color it with Derwent Inktense Pencils, soften the colors, blend them out using the Deco Art Fabric Medium and a kind of stiff brush to smooth all those colors out. Then I'm going to cut this with a pair of scissors and fray the edges. Now you can do anything with this piece that you're making. I ended up putting it into a frame. You can mount it on the front of a card. You can stitch it to a slow stitching project. You can put it onto felt and stitch around it, stuff it, and make it into an ornament. You can also glue it down onto a piece of heavy card or mat board and make it into a gift tag. So there's so many things you can do with this. I hope that you enjoy this project. I'm drawing straight through here, and every once in a while you'll see me pick like lint off the tip of the brush, or tip of the pen. It's like a brush. Off the tip of the pen. If you don't pick those little pieces of lint off the brush, again, the pen, it'll end up smearing the ink, and you don't want that to happen. After I'm done drawing here, I'm going to dry. I'm not cutting my voiceover here, so I hope you don't mind. I am going to be drying this using a Ranger heat tool. You can just let it sit and dry, but I wanted to get it done straight through as quickly as possible. It took me total, with coloring and the drying, about 30 minutes to do this whole project. So, depending on what you want to do. I want you to realize that I have a lot of skill here. I have a lot of practice. I am not, quote unquote, talented. I just have years and years of practicing with drawing and using my pen straight in on something. I'm not afraid of what's going to happen. If you're afraid of what's going to happen, you're going to be tentative, you're going to be sketchy, and if it makes you feel better, go in with a pencil and give yourself an outline first, and then trace over your outlines. That's totally fine. It's your artwork. It's your project, and you are the one in control of it. So getting that color in there, I am not scribbling down hard with these pencils. I am just leaving enough of the pigment so that when I get it wet with the fabric medium, it's going to blend out and be nice and smooth, but it's not going to be so much pigment to bleed out. The reason why I don't have any bleeding out is using that fabric medium. When you use the fabric medium, your fabric doesn't get saturated and wick out. You can use water. It's going to give you a different effect. It is going to bleed. It is going to wick out. You're going to end up with a colorful halo. That might be what you want. And that works really well if you're doing lights or things that are glowing. I think water would be an even better thing to use. Inktense is permanent on porous surfaces, so things like wood and fabric and paper. If you are trying to use this on a slick surface, it's not going to stick. So stick with those porous surfaces. I'm using a silver bright brush. It's a 1/4 inch flat edge. and it is kind of stiff. It's an acrylic painting brush. It's not a watercolor brush. Don't use your good watercolor brushes on this. It's not worth the risk of ruining your good brush. Use something that is made for a thicker product. The fabric medium is an acrylic product. It has a water base to it, and that's why it will smooth out the colors. It also has the acrylic in it, which helps to hold those pigments to your fabric in the place where you put them. After it's been dried and heat set, it's permanent. The fabric painting medium does make your area of the design a little bit stiffer than the actual fabric. Just something to know. And yeah, I'm pretty much, getting through here fairly quickly. I did cut through some of this getting it wet, because once you get a petal wet or a branch wet, you kind of know what you're doing here. But each step, each petal, each leaf, you learn something, and your skills grow as you give yourself permission to not be perfect with it. Be grateful that you're here in the moment, that you're here now, that you're able to do something creative. Make sure and wash your brush out and dry it well. Then after you're all done with your project, go and wash your brush with a mild detergent and let it lay flat to dry. Heat drying all along. Now I'm going to put some little embellishments on. I'm using some of the Glamour Dust by Deco Art in a little squeeze bottle with a needle tip on it. Works really well for this. I always make sure that it's started on like a piece of paper towel or something else off of the project. But then you can just go in and kind of color with the tip of this tool. This bottle will last for a long time, as long as you remember to always put the cap back on the needle tip. When this is dry, all of this is going to be this sort of diamond dust glitter without having to pour flaky glitter around. I love the effect. I don't love glitter, but I love the effect of it. I am putting little dots. I'm using it like a drawing tool now and putting some specific little dots around, and they just give that extra bit of shine. Just have fun and remember that slowing down and breathing while you're doing it, that's part of the process. Giving yourself time to enjoy the process. Now, there I am. I'm going to put that cap on. I did wipe the tip off with a paper towel before I put the cap on it. And then I dried. And with using the heat tool to dry, I got the drying done in about 3 minutes. And I did keep it moving the entire time. The heat tool is a hot tool, not like a blow dryer. You can use a blow dryer. It's just going to take a little bit more time. I'm using my favorite white pen, the Uniball Signo UMN 153 white broad tip, to put just some little sparkles. I will go in now and put the year at the base. You can write something. You could put Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you want. I just wanted the year. I wanted it to be a little bit less writing. I don't love my handwriting, but I'm getting used to it. Now, I did have it taped down to a piece of Coroplast, a plastic corrugated board. It just a surface that when the fabric medium goes through, it's not going to glue your fabric down to it, because fabric medium is kind of like a glue. Now, when you're going to do your fringing or your fraying around the edges, you want your cut lines to be as straight across with the weave of the fabric, across the top and down a side. You don't want it to go wandering around so much. When you do and you're pulling your threads out, it can get a little bit bound up. So, just take your time. If you don't like the fringe, you can just, or frayed edges, you can just leave it. You can just cut them sharp and let it be. I really like this process. I like the almost meditative quality and the satisfaction of building that fringe or fray around the edge. So this edge here is not as straight across, and that's why it got a little bit tricky pulling it out. Just be gentle with it and give yourself the time to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember that, leaves have holes in them and fringe can be wandering. And I love it. I love this. Now you can, like I said at the beginning, you can do lots of different things with this. You can put it on the front of a card, just glue it down with some glue stick. You can put it onto, glue it down to a wooden disc, sew it down to a fabric project, a slow stitching project, or a piece of felt and do the stitching down to that. You can put it on a card and put it in a frame, which is what I did. And the frame that I had was just a little dollar store plain pine wood frame. It didn't have glass. It was just a cardboard background. And I painted it with some cardinal red folk art paint and some gold metallic paint from Deco Art. I was thinking about maybe sewing it down onto this felt, and I would just sew it down with a straight running stitch and then do a blanket stitch around the edge of the felt, the two pieces, stuff it with a little polyfill, finish closing it up, and put a hanger on it. To do that, you can put it on a piece of cardboard and make it into a gift tag. You can put it on the front of a card. I like having the contrast, so I did paint that card with flat black acrylic paint. Putting it into the frame, I used the backing board to just cut the backing piece for the fabric, for the artwork. And that way I knew that it was going to fit and I didn't have to do any fancy measuring, and it made me really happy to get that done. I am so happy that you're here. I am grateful that you're watching. Please remember to click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're interested in more doodling and fun projects like this, where I take mixed media to another level, let me know. I do have a doodle video that will be coming out soon that is a full page of fabric doodling on the same type of fabric with holiday theme and making gift tags with it. I do color them the same way as I did with this one, so I don't show the coloring in that video, but I will do real time all of the artwork, drawing out all of the holiday doodles, and I hope that you are interested to check that out. Let me know in the comments below if this type of project makes you happy. If you want to see more, I want to know. Remember to go out and do something creative and take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I want to see you back here again really soon. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.